What's up, everybody? This is NorbCam coming at you on this football-less Sunday here. Yes, it's the Sunday before the Super Bowl, but that doesn't mean we have a shortage of any news out there. As I said in this headline, a little bit reacting to what broke yesterday evening about the monster deal, the monster trade that happened between Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford. Thank you very much, Rishi, for noticing my intro. Yes, I've been doing a little bit of off-season work already, trying to beef up things. I hope you guys like that. I thought it was pretty cool myself. So I'm glad you guys are here. I want to talk about this. I want to hear from you guys. You guys can call in below on the number there. 515-606-5121, the code 696-153. You can also chat on the Discord. Operators are standing by right now. But yeah, I want to talk about this thing here, but I want to quickly do a quick shout out. I think he's actually Daniel Dovin of Dovin Real Estate is in the building. And of course, he is my sponsor. I want to do a quick shout out to him. If you guys are in the market to buy or sell a house, or if you know somebody who is, maybe it's a friend, a parent, an aunt, or whatever, in the Seattle, Puget Sound area, give Daniel Dovin a call. He knows his stuff. They got their white glove concierge service. That means they'll help take care of you, getting your house all set up. If you're going to sell it, make it look good, so you're guaranteed it's going to be sold quickly and well. And all the whole while, you can also talk Seahawks, because this dude knows his Seahawks stuff. So if you set up a consultation with him, check out his link in the description. You do a one-on-one. You'll be put in a drawing to get a Cortez Kennedy rookie card. If you don't know who Cortez Kennedy is, well, one, you've got to do some research. We're talking 1992, one of the best players to ever put on a Seahawks uniform, Hall of Famer, passed away a few years ago, but this dude was a monster on a team that was 2-14, and it was Defensive Player of the Year. It was awesome. All right, let's get into this a little bit. So if you guys hadn't heard the news, yes, the Lions and the Rams got together and worked out a deal. Jared Goff from the Rams goes to the Lions. Matthew Stafford from the Lions goes to the Rams. What do they have to do? Well, the Lions just gave up Stafford. The Rams had to give up quite a bit. They had to give up, besides Jared Goff, they had to give up this year's third-round pick, a first-round pick in 22 next year, and a first-round pick in 23. They gave up a lot, but they kind of had to because they had Goff on that stupid contract that they signed with him a couple years ago, worth over like $134 million. And so the only way they could get that off their books was to work out a deal like this. So essentially, Detroit takes Goff, which is really not the prize. The prize here is the draft picks. They say, okay, we'll take care of a bunch of that salary. We'll take him, who, he'll be serviceable for the next couple seasons, but really this sets him up with a lot of draft capital to really start setting up the Lions for the intermediate long future. Maybe not this year, but for the next couple years to go. For the Rams, obviously, things were not going well for Jared Goff. He was starting to have too many turnovers. Just wasn't playing like the guy they had, who was playing at a pretty high level a couple years ago, but I don't know what happened in the last couple years, throwing a ton of interceptions, got injured late, and then the writing was on the wall that they were not going to commit to him in the future, with the whole discussion about Wolford and him having a quarterback controversy there, and then the GM Les Snead not committing to that. He's our quarterback for right now, but he won't be for 2 days after I said this. So they made the move. Obviously, they felt like he wasn't the guy for the future, and now they believe that Matthew Stafford is. The question is Matthew Stafford the guy? What does this really mean for the Rams as they move forward? That's what I want to hear from you guys. I want to kind of break this topic down a little bit. Anthony D in the super chat says, "What up, NorbCam? Hope you're doing okay. How's some notes for my script going off? Actually, waiting to hear from what you have to say. Cool, buddy. Go Hawks." Yes, I have not forgotten, man. I just got to figure out how to notate all my notes on your PDF so that you can have that information. It's been a busy week, though. Regular work started to catch up, and girls starting to play volleyball again. So I'm juggling a lot of stuff right now. Can you see? Can you see all the balls I got in the air? Anyway, so I want to hear from you guys. Again, you can reach me below on the phone or on my Discord. And in my opinion, who wins out in this deal? Well, the Lions. I think this is a good deal for them. And like I said, in the short term, they're a team that's in the rebuild mode. They've got first draft capital now. They can draft a quarterback if they want. They've got some ability to really improve that area. I don't think Jared Goff is really the future of anybody's team, because he's kind of proven that if he can't get it done in Los Angeles and he's going kind of the wrong direction, I don't think he's really boding well for the future. The only thing that works out well for Jared Goff's favor is his pocketbook and his wife. They're doing quite well financially in that regard. I don't know if they'll still live in Los Angeles in that sweet little pad that they got over there, or if he's going to have to move to Detroit. Probably not a good switch there, but maybe they'll just, he'll be rich enough to have places in both, keep his LA home and have one in Detroit. So we'll see how he does in Detroit, but my guess is that at some point they will look to it for a quarterback in the future. After, either draft somebody in the next couple of years. I think they got a first rounder this year, so they could get a quarterback, have him play behind Jared Goff for a little bit. But more importantly, for us in the NFC West, what does this mean? We've talked for a while now, the teams that we're battling against: Seahawks, Cardinals, Rams, 49ers, right? Getting tighter every year. The Cardinals have their quarterback. He's going to be there for a while. The Rams and the 49ers, we've always known that both those teams are one quarterback away from being great. They're already good because they have such great defenses. They got good running games. But at quarterback, they were always a little bit just not quite there. So now Detroit gets Matthew Stafford in as an upgrade to him. But how much of an upgrade is he? I was looking at the numbers because there's been a lot of talk that he's underrated. He's never had much to work with around Detroit. So coming into Los Angeles, he's going to have much more of a shot to turn that team into a true contender. Question, is that really true? I was comparing, like what are the stats compared to Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford? Well, let's look at Matthew Stafford's numbers career-wise. He's been playing for longer than Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson came in 2012. Matthew Stafford's 32, turning 33 very soon, and he came in the league in 2009. So he's been playing a long time. So what does he have to show for it? So he's, completion percentage, 62.6%. Yards-wise, he's the last couple of games, 3,777, 2,499, but he's injured half that season, 4,000 this year, so pretty good yardage. And he's had mostly 4,000 yards passing, and even broke 5,000 back in 2011 when he had Calvin Johnson. Anthony D says, "Awesome, bud. Take your time. Can't wait to see it." Yes, Anthony, and I hope you're working out all the issues you got with your writers. I know how challenging that is. Interceptions, double-digit interceptions. He's been pretty consistent, throwing about 10 interceptions a season since 2016. 10, 11, had 5 the year before, and then 10 last year. QB rating, career-wise, 89.9. And let's look at Jared Goff. QB rating in his 5 years with the Rams, 91.5. Let's see. Completion percentage, 63.4 compared to the 62.6 of Matthew Stafford. I don't think it's as clear an upgrade as what people may think. I do think, given the way that Goff had been trending, he's definitely moving towards the right direction. I think he will be better, and it doesn't take much with that Rams team right now to be better because they got so many weapons. But I think the pressure on the Rams here is that Matthew Stafford's going to have to, I think, produce pretty quickly. The fact that the Rams have put so much into this team, giving up so much to get Jalen Ramsey and giving up so much to have paid Goff, and then of course they got that stacked defense. But as we know, as the Seahawks saw firsthand, there's only so many years you can keep a team stacked like that before eventually you're going to start losing guys because of contracts and salary cap and all that kind of stuff. So he's going to have to produce soon. He's going to have to produce quick. And the question is, how much impact can he make? I mean, I think he will be an upgrade over Jared Goff, but I don't know if he's as high impact as people think he's going to be. Now, if you'd said that Deshaun Watson was coming here, boy, I would be freaking out and going, "Oh my God, we're in big trouble." But Matthew Stafford, my first thought on that was it didn't send shockwaves and fear into me as a Seahawks fan that, oh my God, what are we going to do now? I mean, our biggest issue facing the Rams has always been the defense, dealing with their defense. Now, again, I'm talking now from a Seahawks perspective. And so, what is this? How much difference will this mean for the Rams offense? How much better does he make them? And just looking initially at the numbers, that they're not that drastically improved. Now, granted, I understand they got more weapons on the Rams than he did have to work with the Lions. But then, during those years when he had the heyday of his numbers, he had Calvin Johnson on his team. And that's when he threw 5,000 yards, 49, 67, 46, 50. And it's kind of gone down since then. So after Calvin Johnson was gone, the numbers have dropped some since that point. And Stafford has been to three playoff games, including one against us, and he has never won a single one. So when you measure that part of it versus, even Jared Goff, who took them to a Super Bowl on the year when he was playing really well, how much better are they really? And that's what I really want to find out from you guys. What do you guys think in terms of, how much better improved are the Rams with this addition of Matt Stafford? Dovin, real estate, Daniel Dovin in the house, in the super chat, says, Norb, thanks for the partnership. Rams will be dangerous with Stafford, Akers, and the defense. Hawks need to respond, extend Adams, Dunlap, and to save cap space. Thoughts? I'm with you, man. I think it's so funny how the Seahawks and the Rams are so intertwined at this moment. The Seahawks having acquired their passing game coordinator and their run game coordinator, now architecting the offense for the Seahawks, which I feel like, that was their main shortcoming in terms of the finish to this year. I feel like they had the tools. They just didn't know how to put it together. They didn't know how to use it correctly. And I've been saying for so long, why don't we do what the Rams are doing? Why don't we do more what the 49ers are doing? Well, now we are taking the guys who've been doing what they've been doing, and now they're on our team. They're now in the offensive room for the Seahawks to build on. And so that makes me very excited. So I feel like that already is just a change in scheme that will hopefully result in seeing a faster passing game, quicker tempo, and less sacks as a result. And so assuming that translates over from what we've seen, what they've done with the Rams, that should already make the Seahawks that much better without even having to change players. Okay, you just take the same exact players we have now and introduce that scheme and stick to that scheme. We should already improve. Less turnovers, less sacks, and more productivity. So that's the first place. And then, of course, we got to deal with those things. You brought up, Daniel, about extending Adams. I'm of the mindset you have to extend Adams. One, you gave up so much for him. In fact, what they gave up to get Adams is very similar to what the Rams gave up to get Matthew Stafford. 2 first-rounders, a third-rounder, and a player. That's very similar to what we did to get Jamal Adams. And so I think, we've got to make him last more than just this season and next. And I think he's worth it. And I think you just got to use him to what his strengths are. And that's run defense in the box, rushing the quarterback. And the guy set the the pass rush record from a defensive back. And man, the impact he made in the end zone, in fact, against the Rams, saved that game that we ended up winning because of his speed and strength across the edge. So, yeah, I believe Adams is a priority. Dunlap, he saved the game too with game-winning sacks in the clutch. And I think players who deliver in the clutch, you got to have those guys. Those are the ones you pay the money for. You know, Russell Wilson, fourth quarter when he's clutch. You know, that's what makes him great. And players who stand up and make their best plays at the end of the game when it counts. That's the kind of plays that win. That's the kind of players you want to have on your team. So it's going to be tricky for sure. But you know, that's definitely what is going to take for the Seahawks to continue. And that's going to be challenging. All teams are strapped with salary cap and issues like that. But it's going to be, you know, that's the fun. That's the fun of, I guess, John Schneider now having to figure these things out and, you know, being able to figure out how to negotiate the salary cap to keep the stars that we need, but yet still, you know, not lose too many to free agency. So let's go to some of your guys' reactions here. Let's go to Chris Carson, the GOAT. Let's bring you in here for your comments. I want to hear what you guys think about this trade. Chris Carson, the GOAT. You're on with NorbCam. What's up? Let me put you on here. Chris Carson, the GOAT. Sorry, I had my mic muted. You are on with NorbCam. What's going on? Are you there? Chris Carson, the GOAT.
I guess, yeah.
There you are.
Uh-oh.
All right, we got this working. What's up, man? How you doing? Oh, hold on a second. Oh, hold on a second. Hold on a second. I got it. There we go.
I have no
there we
gun.
go. There we go. How about that? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Hello there. Nope. I don't know what he's doing there. Let's go to a different caller. Hold on a second. Let's go to Casey Sportsnerd. I missed you last time on the fan panel. Lewis, Casey Sportsnerd. What's up, brother?
I can hear you this time. Thanks.
I know. Yeah, I had myself muted. Sorry about that. Hey, it's good to hear from you, man. I'm definitely going to be talking Super Bowl preview this week since I know you are a KC fan. So we'll save that conversation for later in the week. But want to get your thoughts on your take on this deal, man. Who comes out ahead, and what does it mean specifically? Since I'm a Seahawks fan, and most of you guys listening are Seahawks fans, what does this mean in terms of the NFC West?
Well, I mean, I definitely think that if you look at Matthew Stafford, I feel he's not a guy that you technically can have long term. So I think you're really going to need to figure out, especially if you're the Rams right now, that you're not having a first round pick through 2023. I thought it was originally through 2027 for some reason, but then I found out it was just through 2023. So if you're them, I think that you're really going to need, because if you're not going to have a first round pick then, and you don't want to trade up, I'm assuming you're not going to want to trade up in this situation, though it absolutely can happen in a given time. You're going to hopefully want him through that year. I'm not sure how long he could last because you're not going to have a first round pick until the 2024 draft. So just from quarterback standpoint, he's good for the short term, but I just think that if you're the Rams right now, you're going to definitely want to have hopefully him through when you have a first round pick again to get another quarterback.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, that they've got him for at least a couple years, maybe slightly beyond that. But for right now, what do you think? I mean, how much better does Matthew Stafford make the Rams, in your opinion? How much of an upgrade is this?
Well, I think especially in his first, I think it can really go either way for me, and here's why. I think that just because of where Matthew Stafford is in his career, and then he's going to a whole nother system with a whole nother coach and a whole nother offensive coordinator and a whole nother, basically another attack that he's been used to, that I think it can very well, I mean, he can very well do well, but at the same time, it can be a little bit struggling getting used to that system. And I think it can give him maybe a year or two, year and a half, and it can really get into it. And I think I think it could potentially be a threat, but I think that the reason why I think it will be a threat is because he probably will probably play at an elite level at some point, and then he'll use those targets that he already has, like Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp, to his advantage. But at the same time, I have a sort of feeling that it could probably take him some time just to get used to the system. So it could be a potential threat to you, but it really can also not be a threat at all, depending on how he plays his first years getting used to the system.
All right. All right, I'll take that. Sounds like it's not committal one way or the other, but I agree. I think the potential is there. The big question is how much difference will a new team around him truly make in terms of how good is he really, or how much was he just not built with a team around him in Detroit, or how much is it? Is it the quarterback, or is it the system that he plays in? So. Yeah, we're going to definitely find out. I'm really curious to see what San Francisco is going to do, because I feel like the Rams and the Niners are similar in where they see themselves with their quarterback. I don't see anybody in the 49ers thinking that Jimmy Garoppolo, especially after this year, after he got banged out again and pretty much didn't play the whole season, that he's not the answer.
I don't think you would like this very much, but I have this sort of feeling inside me. I don't think this will happen, but I somewhat have this feeling at the same time. Oh, you still speaking? Or?
Yeah, I'm still listening. What's that?
I had this feeling. I don't think this will happen, but there's this nagging feeling. I feel that maybe Watson may be a target for them, which I don't think will happen. But I think he may have been. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he may have been one of the teams that were interested. Was that right?
Well, I know that the Niners were interested in Matthew Stafford, so the Niners clearly have been looking. I would think it's a natural fit. That why wouldn't Deshaun Watson not be interested in playing on a team like the 49ers, who have a good defense, good running game, and obviously have been contending in the past? And why would the Niners not want to get somebody like Deshaun Watson, who clearly would be one of the best quarterbacks they could ever get their hands on, that they have not found in the last, how far you want to go back, since Colin Kaepernick, really.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that scares the crap out of me. The thought of those, that scares me more than even the Matthew Stafford. But as we already know, the Rams are a tough team to deal with already, even when they had a bad quarterback in there. So, yeah, I hope that doesn't happen. I was really hoping that Goff and Garoppolo were here to stay for a while, because, yeah, they aren't very good. And clearly they see that too.
I don't know how good I would, if I just say that like a division was like probably like the like basically the thing to look at I mean, not like the division to always continually watch. If Watson goes to San Francisco, I'm gonna lose my mind. Like it's just gonna set up for this division can go either way every single year if that guy comes here, because you're talking like. If you have already Stafford, he's going to probably be out in a few years. So that's why I don't think it's continually a huge threat going along. But if you have a guy like Watson, this is what, especially on First Take, I remember them saying, like, this is probably going to be the biggest trade in history. It's because this is a guy who's in his prime, and he's a Pro Bowler. So, I mean, the thing about Stafford, I think Stafford is just that he can bring potential. It's just that he's not going to last like a Watson type of guy or a Mahomes type of guy. He's not going to be a long-term kind of quarterback. So I think he does have the potential, but he's not going to be like years and years down the line. So that's what I think.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Definitely a lot to. It's this offseason already starting with a huge spark, and really they can't finalize this deal until March, I believe, when the end of season free agency period really kicks in. But for all intents and purposes, this deal is done. So. All right, man. Well, appreciate your thoughts. I definitely will be talking to you later this week as we preview and get really deep into this Chiefs-Buccaneers match. Man. I'm definitely looking forward to hearing your thoughts on the game. I'll save it for when we have that conversation. All right?
All right, man.
All right. Good talking to you. Let's talk to another. Let's go to what we got here. Elmo Super Saiyan. Elmo Super Saiyan. Who's this? Where you from? Hello, Elmo Super Saiyan, you there? Nope, I guess not. Let's go to BJ. BJ, you're on with NorbCam. What's up?
What's up, Norb?
Hey, not much. Welcome back to the show. What's your thoughts on this trade? What was your reaction when you heard?
Well, my first reaction was sadness because our division rivals get a good quarterback for once.
Yes.
But then, I think about it more. It's like the Rams are putting all of their money in now. Like they're going full mode for now because they're trying to win now. Mm-hmm. And, we kind of did the same this year. But not quite the same as they are because they're going to be in a worse cap trouble than we would be. But something that I've just seen right now is that multiple teams had like talked to the Rams to get Goff, and so that's a bit surprising because I don't think no one would want Goff, especially with this year's performance from him. But teams wanted Goff, and maybe the Lions wanted Goff to be their starter too. Like maybe we like this young quarterback, and why not trade in some first round picks with them. So I think Goff might have had a market in the NFL that no one was talking about, because I think he might be someone that teams would want, and that surprised me a little bit, to be honest.
Well, I think it was less that they really coveted Goff as much as they knew that the Rams knew they messed up. They knew that after they invested all this money, like, oh my God, how did we commit $130 million to this guy who's not going to be the future? We either have to sync with him and ride this thing out, or we do something now and we work out some kind of deal where we get something back that we can use to improve that position, but we're going to have to pay a price for it. And that was it. They were willing to pay the price, and you just had to find the right buyer who was willing to take on some of that money in exchange for the draft capital, right? Because, I mean, there's when it comes down to it, you've got money, you've got draft, and then you got the player. Rams are in a win now situation. They need to take advantage now of this window that they've got. This is like the Seahawks in 2013, 2014, when they had the defense humming at the highest level. Rams got to capitalize before that thing falls apart. So they need a guy who can win right now. The Lions, on the other hand, they just got a new coach. They're rebuilding. They're not looking to get competitive, I don't think, for at least another 2-3 years from now, and then maybe they get those drafts result in something, and then they're able to okay, now we've got our quarterback, now we've got the pieces, now we can contend. So totally different position, totally different objectives at this point. But that's kind of the way I think it played out. And the Lions they had the cap space to take it on, and they figured, well, this is sort of our price. We get drafts, we pay out a little bit of money, we get a guy who knows, maybe he'll do okay, in the transitional period while they wait for their franchise quarterback to come in. So yeah, we'll see.
You think about it, if this was how much it cost to get Matthew Stafford, how much is it going to cost for Deshaun? I mean, the Texans, in a way, won with this trade happening.
They did, for sure.
Now it just shows how much it takes to get a good quarterback in Matthew Stafford. So I think Texans would have picks for days. Yeah, and not that they'll know what to do with them, but they will have picks for days, as you say. And Deshaun Watson is, like 20? He's like 25 or 26, so he's like 6 years younger. So, clearly different situations, and a quarterback who is very talented he's going to be great on some team wherever he ends up. So I'm hoping it's not the Niners. Please, not the Niners. That's just going to be too much to take. I don't think he's going to the Niners. I think they might target someone in the draft, like a Trey Lance type of quarterback. Yeah. No, we'll see. Well, thanks. I think they wanted to save the cap. Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. It all depends on how much they want to make this happen now, and if they feel like that's worth it, or if there's some guy that they got their eyes on in the draft. So, BJ, thanks for the call, man. I appreciate it. Go Hawks. Let's go to another one. Let's go to Spicy Noodle. Spicy Noodle's on early. Spicy Noodle. Welcome to the show.
Hey.
Hey, so what's your thoughts on this trade?
I mean, my first reaction was, man, of course he had to come to our division, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, yep.
It's just, for the Rams, I think if this doesn't work out, let's say like he gets injured or doesn't play well, whatever the case is, if it doesn't work out, I mean, they're not going to be in a good position, right? Because they kind of like put all their eggs into one basket here with this.
I think so, and they really are betting everything with all the money they've invested in Jalen Ramsey and the on their defense, and I mean they've got everything working right now to where with no high first rounds down the line, they're cashing those chips in to get these high all pro type players, and none of that works out if they don't have a quarterback who can sort of tie the whole package together, and clearly they didn't see that. So the question is always, do you think Matthew Stafford's that much better than Goff? Do you think he's how much better do you think it makes them? Because I don't think it's as big as maybe some people would say. At least that's from my bird's eye view.
I think ultimately it all depends on the system that they want to use, right? Because
I would guess they're going to run the same type system that they've been doing, because that has been working. They've got the pieces that will carry over from that. So I think it's Stafford sort of adjusting to Sean McVay's system, which.
But I guess the Rams are a team that they mainly are successful because of their defense. So they kind of just need a guy that'll be good enough, I guess.
Well, he's got to be good enough and not turn the ball over. For whatever reason, It's interesting how Jared Goff, if you look at his career, 2016, 2017, slow start, 5 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and then he went 28 touchdowns, 7 interceptions in his second year. Then after that, he continued to throw high touchdowns, 32 in that peak year, but he started throwing more interceptions, 12 interceptions, 32 touchdowns, 22 touchdowns, 16 interceptions last year, or this past season, 20 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. So clearly the turnover issue became a bigger problem the last 3 years. For whatever reason that is, who knows? But maybe defenses started to figure him out a little bit, or, I think they put pressure on him. If you put pressure on Jared Goff, he tends to make bad decisions and do bad things with the ball. And it's kind of like a microcosm of what happened to Seattle this year, and not being able to adjust to when teams figure out
defense just figured us out.
Yeah, but that's kind of the game, though. There's always we're going to do this and it's going to work, and then the other teams will look at it and go, "Oh, you're doing that now? Okay, well, we're going to just take that away and let's see what you can do about that." Like the read option, Russell Wilson, Colin Kaepernick were running it all over the place 2012, 2013. And then they had to kind of get away from it because other teams started to figure out how to shut that down. So you have to come back with something else. So now Seattle's in that major come back with something else mode with the hiring of the former Rams passing and running coordinator. Yeah. So you're hoping that they'll be able to bounce back and do something different that will be what I've been wanting them to do for a long time now, which is quick passing game, timing, more run, read option, read pass option. I was watching, this the documentary that I'm going to release on Friday, which I hope you guys will tune in when I do the YouTube premiere of my 2014 Seahawks season view from a 12. I got to rewatch. I have plays. I'm actually going to include the plays in that video, so you get to rewatch some of the actual game plays in the show. But they had a lot of read pass option concepts. That I was looking at, man, why don't they do that anymore? That's some good stuff where fake the run, Russell Wilson spreads to the left, he's got the option to keep running, or if the guy comes up, then he can throw it.
NFC Championship, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm hoping that they'll work a little bit more of that in there, because that was a thing to behold. That was why Darrell Bevell, as much as we give him grief for what he did in 2014, whether it was his call or Pete Carroll's, we'll never know. But I remember being very angry at Darrell Bevell because of how that game ended. He did do a lot of very cool things and had some very creative plays that did work for Seattle. So we'll see how creative they get with the new guys in Seattle. So
yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for joining, Matt. I appreciate the call.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, go Hawks. All right, let's talk to how about Seahawks for life. Welcome back to the show, Seahawks for life. What's going on? Are you there? Maybe not there. Let's go to Archan. Archan, welcome to the show. Archan going once. Okay, not there either. Let's go to Tyler. Tyler Greaves, who won the trivia from a couple weeks ago. Tyler, are you there?
Hey, Norb.
Hey, Tyler. Welcome back to the show, man.
Thank you.
So, what's your thoughts, man, on this trade, this monster trade, and what do you think it means for the Seahawks here in the NFC West?
It's crazy. It's going to be weird to see Matthew Stafford in any other uniform besides the Lions uniform. And it's going to be weird to see Jared Goff in any uniform besides a Rams uniform.
Well, not as weird as seeing Tom Brady this year in a Buccaneers uniform. Yet we are getting used to it and singing into another Super Bowl. But yeah, it's just goes to show nothing is set, nothing's permanent, and we all have to keep our minds open to the possibility that Russell Wilson may not be a Seahawk for life, and he might be wearing another uniform at some point.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't happen. I hope they get worked out to where it just feels like a natural fit for him to keep staying. But at this point, you just never know. But what's your thought? How much better do the Rams get now that they've got Matthew Stafford?
I mean, I would consider Matthew Stafford, a better upgrade over Jared Goff any day of the week. As far as the Seahawks goes, I don't know how many times we faced Matthew Stafford in his career. I would say 3 times.
Mm-hmm. Once in the playoffs. And I think we've won every single time. I remember we beat him in Detroit one time. We beat him in a playoff game. That was that game where Cam Chancellor punched the ball out at the 1 yard line. That would have probably resulted in a loss if he'd gotten in. I can't remember if that was the same playoff game. Oh, no, that was a regular season game, I think. And we played them in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think that was Monday Night Football.
Yeah, because that was Chancellor coming back from his holdout. He played that game. So that was a regular season game, once in Detroit, and then we played them in the playoffs 18? I can't remember now. But yeah, we played them again.
I think it was 16.
Yeah. Anyway, so we've had kind of the best of them in the few times that we have played those guys. But But yeah, Stafford, who's never won a playoff game. So it's hard to believe, hard to imagine, and even for a stretch there, he had Calvin Johnson on that team as well. So even with that weapon, we're not able to, get any further in the playoffs. So so I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm just glad it wasn't Deshaun Watson. I guess I'm not at this point.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe because of the fact that we've had fortunate games where we've won every time against Matthew Stafford, that I just don't see him as. Remember him as being a huge threat, but a lot of people feel like he's underrated and tough guy and all that stuff. But he's had his share of injuries as well.
Yeah, definitely.
He played only 8 games in 2019. That was the last time he had a bad injury. And then I remember he missed some games. Didn't he miss a game like in going to the postseason or something like that? But anyway, 2019 was definitely one of his shorter seasons, but.
Yeah,
but, we'll see. We'll see how he does. It's Seattle's. I think Seattle's just got to they've got to counterpunch, and that counterpunch I think is they've got to draft well with the few draft picks that we have. I'm sure Schneider will manufacture a few more out of that, but we've got to draft well, and then our second-year players have got to really start stepping up this year. The guys who. The Darrell Taylors and the Rashad Pennies and, guys like that have really got to step up and contribute. I mean, that's kind of the big thing.
I thought Alton Robinson did a great job last year in the few, appearances he made.
Yep.
So, I would like to go see us get a cornerback or two this offseason, definitely.
Now, you're talking about in the draft? Or talking about free agent
or just
moves?
In the draft, or just in the off season in general.
Do you feel like Shaquille Griffin? Do you think that the Seahawks should re-sign him, or are you saying we should let him go and find somebody else?
Ooh, that's a tough question.
Because I think there's enough uncertainty by enough fans, at least, to feel like nobody's convinced that he's the lockdown quarterback of the future, right? I think we've all felt every year there's always that. Well, he's just got to get a little bit better here. Oh, he's got to be a little more consistent here. And we've been saying that, I feel like, for every year. And this year would have been the one to sort of prove like, okay, he's got it figured out. He's the one. I don't think he's really earned that spot. So I'm with you. I feel like we got to keep looking. And it's a tough one. That's obviously why it's one of the highest paid positions. And you either got to draft the right guy and scout him out, or, which they did. I can't remember what they drafted Shaquille Griffin. Wasn't he like second or third round? Second round.
We drafted him pretty high.
Pretty high. Yeah, I think he was second round.
But it's just, he hasn't really turned out, fantastic. And Trey Flowers obviously hasn't been effective, really. And
we've missed
it's
on a
just- we
lot
have
of
to-
moves. I mean, look at all the attempts to, Shaquille Griffin and then, Trey Flowers, Quentin Dunbar, free agent attempt, and that just didn't work out this year. So there've been a lot of swings and misses, in recent years that haven't panned out, and you got to have a decent batting average at these things, or else, because if you can't keep buying the talent, because that's too expensive, too much on your cap, and you're only renting a player for a year or two at a time. So you got to really make hay in the draft, because that's what Seattle was so good at in the beginning. So they've got to get more productivity and get guys who can really produce. And it just feels like there've been more misses than hits in the last few years.
Yeah.
Anytime you get a guy who they don't extend, and like the Jermaine Ifedis of the world, and if they don't pan out to a longer term deal where you're convinced, let's sign this guy for that first big contract because he's earned it, then you didn't really draft very well. So, and that's what the Rams clearly didn't draft very well, because they spent a bunch of picks to get Jared Goff, and now they're spending a bunch of picks to get rid of him.
Exactly.
I'm just so glad they didn't win a Super Bowl during that time. They got close.
Yeah, me too.
But they've definitely been a pain in our side. So I'm hoping that if we can counter move to them with this move with the offensive and the passing and running coordinator in our offense, hopefully that will be enough to where, because I feel like the Rams, that there's this fall off coming with the Rams, because they can't, this window of time where they got everything, all these weapons, is going to be coming to an expiration here in a couple of years. And all these high costs that they're paying out eventually is going to catch up to them. So I think they're feeling like, we spent all this money now, we've got to get results. We've got to get back to a Super Bowl in the next 2 years, or otherwise we miss the window. And Seattle did that. They got to 2 Super Bowls in that window. Sadly, you know how that happened. And you'll get to relive that.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that.
Yeah, we won't talk about it. You will get to relive it with me when you watch my documentary on Friday when I release that. It's actually very fun. It's a fun journey back, even though we have to relive the pain at the end. The journey to get there was pretty awesome. So hope you guys will all watch that with me. So, all right, man. Well, thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Well, talk again soon. Go Hawks. All right, let's go to DK and Norb, our goats. What's up, buddy?
What's going on?
Oh, man, there's never a dull moment. Even when there's no football being played on a Sunday, there's still something to talk about. So, what do you think about this move?
Honestly, I prefer Jared Goff being in our division.
Me too.
Just like you said earlier, he's thrown so many picks. Matt Stafford is a guy who is a great quarterback, very underrated, and he just hasn't had the defense and the weapons like Russ has. So he hasn't been really he's been underrated. He's been not as talked about as much. But definitely, I think this season he's got a run game, Cam Akers. He's got wide receivers, and I think they may win the division. This is going to be a tough division this year. Kyler Murray, D-Hop, some of the players from the 49ers are coming back from injury. And the Rams are just going to be the Rams. We're going to be neck and neck with one team, and this year maybe the Rams. So, we gotta do something that Seahawks fans are not expecting. So we just gotta make something miraculous.
What is that something miraculous? When you say something miraculous, when you start asking for miracles, that's a big thing. So what do you mean by something miraculous?
I want to see, like no one really knows who we can pick up. I mean, some people know, but I personally don't. And one time we can wake up and Deshaun Watson's in. I don't know. Maybe he's requesting a trade to Seattle. I don't know what's gonna happen, but so one morning and Shaquille Griffin could be gone, and we don't have that safety. Oh, I'm sorry. That cornerback. So, we just need like a big player, a big key player that played a role on the other team to come to Seattle. And I'm talking about a guy like TJ Watt. I'm sorry, JJ Watt.
Right.
He's been talked about a lot coming to Seattle. I want to see a guy like him come to Seattle. I think that would be, our defense will be set.
The question is, what is that going to cost? Everything is, you start breaking down all the positions, running back, Jamal Adams, corner, linebacker. I mean, all those things kind of add up to, there's only so much to go around. So we'll see, man. But it'll be interesting to see what that miracle would be. And I'm telling you, maybe that miracle's already in the Seahawks in the form of that coaching staff. I'm telling you, man, I think that our offense, we need to beef up the offensive line a little bit. But I think we are in pretty good position with, obviously, I believe in our quarterback. Tight end, it'd be nice to get another big target in there, but then I still think that Colby Parkinson, if he can kind of, come out this second year now and really get establish himself as a big dude. Let's see what he can do. Get a little more out of Disley, and then in our receiving core, we still got the two guys, and we got to capitalize what we got, Lockett and Metcalf. Because Metcalf is cheap right now, so he's got to capitalize before he goes and becomes the diva guy who's going to start making a lot of money. So we got to take advantage of that. Running back, big question. Chris Carson probably not coming back. Do we have the guy in there? Are we going to bring Carlos Hyde back? Is it going to come down to Rashad Penny, who's right now feels like the CJ Procise of 2021 right now? DJ Dallas, is he the one? I just don't know if I'm feeling like we got the guy back there without Chris Carson. But I don't think Seahawks are going to pay Chris Carson. So, a lot of question marks.
I said in the fan panel, Alex Collins, like that dude was like averaging like 5 yards per carry, and he is only 26 years old. Like, if we can have a guy like that for 4 years or 3 years or so, then he was breaking tackles too. So if we can have like a guy like that, we can cut one of those guys. We can cut one of those guys and create more cap space. Nick Blow said this. I definitely see us cutting Carlos Dunlap. I don't think he's going to stay with us. And if that happens, then we can get J.J. Watt because we will have enough cap space. But, Seattle, Schneider, they're going to do their thing. So.
Yeah, Carlos Dunlap, man, he was good though. I felt like the line transformed after he got here, so it's hard to feel like taking him out would be a good move. But he did save us some money to make it work this year. But that discount isn't a long-term discount deal. So, all right, man, thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Yep, thank you, Norb.
All right, you bet. Let's go to the phone lines here. I am taking phone line calls. I'm going to go to Devin in Puyallup. Let me get this set up here. All right, let's try this. Will this actually work? Devin in Puyallup, you there?
Yo, Norb, what's up, dude?
Wow, well, look at that. Technology actually works. Devin, what's going on?
Yeah, not much. I think we should say, what do you think about us having Josh Norman or bringing Sherman back?
Sherman, I just don't know if he's what he was before. We have, of course, the baggage from before, because Sherman was, he's pretty outspoken about him not, kind of the message coming from Pete Carroll was pretty tiring. He was sort of, it felt like he was sort of, not buying in anymore. So it's hard to imagine him back in from a locker room standpoint. And then skill set wise, he's not the same guy he was. And, obviously the injuries had piled up with him too. Josh Norman, again, how much money? I think that's the question, is how much money would a guy like him cost? And is he still as good? These are guys who have been really strong. But, quarterback position is one of those ones where once you start getting old and injuries start to pile up, you turn really old real quick. And Sherman and Norman, they might be kind of in the same boat where they're like on the downhill side of the peak of their play. So I just don't know if it'd be worth the money it would cost to get them. I think we got to look somewhere fresher. So That's my opinion on it. What do you think about the Stafford trade? Do you feel like does this make the Rams suddenly a fearsome? I mean, they're already tough to deal with, but does this make them the contenders for the NFC West again, or do you feel like this is not as good a deal as maybe some in LA would hope to be?
Honestly, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Because I haven't seen Matt all that often. Since he's in the East Coast and we're in the West Coast.
Yeah,
and
we don't.
West
Yeah,
Coast
we don't get to watch him on a regular
some
basis.
East Coast games, but
yeah, no, I think that's the thing, Devin.
It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Hey, Devin, thanks for the call, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's the thing. I think there's just a lot of uncertainty from our standpoint because we don't play them. We're not in that division. We don't see them on a regular basis. We've only played them a handful of times. So the jury's out yet still as to how much impact it's going to be. So we'll soon find out. Let's go to Nick LeBeau. Nick LeBeau, always good to have you on, one of the moderators in the NorbCam Discord channel and regular on the show. What do you think, Nick? What's your thoughts on this blockbuster trade?
Man, I think it's going to make the Rams really tough for next year because they were just like one good quarterback away from going pretty far. And Stafford, even though he is 33 or 34 in that kind of area, he's still a pretty good quarterback. He's durable. Obviously, we saw him playing through a bunch of injuries in Detroit, and now he has, like you said earlier, the best offense around him that he's had arguably in his career. I remember Stafford 2016-15, I want to say, in that wild card game. And he played us pretty tough. And yeah, to think we have to play him now 2, possibly 3 times a year. That's going to be tough, especially with McVay's offensive mind. Yeah, I think it'll definitely be tough. I don't see him really lifting them into that Super Bowl category. I think if something happens, he plays outstanding. Everything goes well for them. Their defense is number 1 in the league again. I think they could get to the Super Bowl, but I honestly don't see him in years to come beating teams like Kansas City, Buffalo in the Super Bowl. And then the thing you have to look at is, yeah, they have had great drafts without first round picks, but in 2 years, if Stafford even lasts 2 years, they're not going to have a first round pick to replace him. So they'll have to find a QB, whether it's this year in the 2nd round or 3rd round or 4th round later in the draft or in years to come.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's going to be pretty challenging. I think get to see what what they are able to do, but there's definitely a win immediately mode for sure. So well, we'll definitely keep an eye on things. I'm very curious to see what they do for San Francisco, and because I think they're going to be looking at the market, but I think it's going to be pretty clear that if a free agency move is potentially in the works, is going to take a lot to get a pretty high level quarterback, as we've seen. If that's the going price to get a Jared Goff, or I should say Matthew Stafford, well, then it's what more for the market for somebody like Deshaun Watson.
Right.
So,
yeah, after I saw that trade, I'm like, man, what is Watson going to be worth? 17 first-round picks?
Yeah, arguably the best quarterback on the free agent market right now in a situation where he wants to get out of there.
Yeah, and that's another thing. If the Niners can somehow lock up a good QB, we're looking at a super tough NFC West.
Yeah, that was already tough.
Right. And now, Yeah, I mean, we're probably one of the luckiest 12-4 teams, really, when you break it all down, to win the division and get 12-4. We did it by the hair in our chitty chin chin a lot of the times, and even that game that we beat the Rams on. If it's not for a bad Jared Goff play, I mean, those interceptions are what cost them the game. And so, we definitely need to improve things because it felt like we were a smoke and mirrors 12-4 team. Yeah,
that wasn't like we sort of earned a solid 12-4, and we need to get to that point where we are that solid 12-4, not just skating by barely by luck. So that's what it's going to take. So all right,
one thing I do like about our team right now is, especially on the defensive line, we have a lot of young, got studs on the defensive line. You know, we have Alton Robinson,
Right.
Darrell Taylor, who's
we
going
haven't even seen a snap from yet. Yeah, he's hopefully going to deliver on what's promised.
Yeah, LJ Collier still pretty young. Rasheem Green. Yeah, we got some good, young, promising faces on the D-line.
For sure. Yeah. All right.
All right.
Thanks for the call, man. I appreciate it. All right. Well, we'll see what happens. But anyway, I've got to wrap this up. Just want to get your quick thoughts. Sorry I couldn't get to all of you, but you guys have a great rest of your week. I got tons of videos this week anticipating Super Bowl and, of course, the documentary premiere on Friday. So sub me up, comment, share, like, all that good stuff. And we will talk to you guys later in the week. Take care and go Hawks.